Hello, everybody. Stephen Williams here. Welcome to Behind the Veil. Boy, do I have a great one for us tonight. It is going to be off the chain. You're going to love this. We're going to talk some good stuff. Y'all know how I do, though. They call me, I'm Stephen Williams. They call me the good bishop, but ain't nobody good like God. So we just, we do the best we can to get as close as we can, but ain't nobody going to be like him. And so thank you so much for joining me. Y'all come on in. This is going to be the absolute bomb. You're going to love it. It's going to be so much fun tonight. And I can't wait to share my guests with you. Oh my God. Get your pens and get your papers. Y'all know how we talk about we going to have us a seat at the table. Guess what, y'all? Most of us don't even know where the table is. So tonight we're going to talk about where is that table. What's up, Bishop? What's going on? Y'all know how we do it. First of all, let me go through my stuff. Y'all go out, please go out and subscribe to SLW Behind the Veil on YouTube. Hit the like button, smash it, and subscribe and get the notifications and all that good stuff. Make sure you get that so you can come and be a part of the SL Williams Behind the Veil on YouTube. And then if you get an opportunity, I'm doing something different tonight. I want to make sure that you are aware of this. If you would like to have a text when I'm coming up, because I'm going to be doing some other things on Behind the Veil that's not going to be on it's not going to be on Facebook. We're simply going to do some things behind the veil. We're going to have some conversations. There are some stuff that we've been having, people have been asking me questions about, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you my insight on it, and we're going to do some research. Y'all know how I like to do research and all that good stuff, and so that's going to be fun. But if you want to be a part of it, text SLWBTV to 71441. I'm going to leave that up for a little while. Text SLWBTV to 71441, and we're going to get you on in and let you you'll get those notifications. And so please, everybody, if you get a chance, if you want to be on the Behind the Veil broadcast and get notifications when I'm out there, I'll be on YouTube sending out some good stuff. It's going to be good. Like, for instance, I'm going to be talking about the 23rd Psalm, man. I'm going to be talking about my new book, Tapping Into finally tapping into your own self. It's going to, I'm tapping into me. I can't wait to tell Trinity all the stuff I got going on. I got a book out. I got CDs out. We're going to talk about how the music is created, and you all are going to hear all about that. And we also going to talk this next thing, and I'll put this back up, is the foundation. Look, this thing, I need 1,000 of my friends to give me $55. I turned 55 this year, March 26th. I turned 55 this year. I'm asking 1,000 of my friends to put in $55. It is going to the Winston-Salem Foundation, the Stephen Williams Fund, and it's going to fund some college students who's going to HBCUs this year. And so all of my good friends, thank y'all so much in advance. Some of you have already contributed. You may want to do more than 55 for my deep pocket friends out there. Y'all come on, throw it up in there. And it's not coming to me. That's what the concert is about on the 26th. You're getting ready to see that advertisement too. And it's for the scholarship fund. And we're going to do some legacy work. All right. I appreciate you guys. Listen, I got to play this one song. I'm going to play a half of this song because he on here. And I just want to talk to him tonight. I just want to talk to him. I'm going to put this one on right here. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to roll with this. Since he want to be an R&B singer, he will bring you through. I believe he's gonna bring you all the way. I'm gonna bring you to the studio. Trinity. Oh yes, he's a rock and he's a door. Shepherd over the soul, and he keeps the score. Oh yes, he watches over us with all his might. He provides for his both day and night. Oh yes, he thinks good thoughts of us to bring us to our expected end. I believe it. I believe it. Yes, he does. In every situation we face, I know with him we will win. Yes, we will. He is the Lord of all and sees everything. I declare unto you, he's the King of kings. Oh, yes. He knows our needs and never leaves our side. All we got to do is lean on him and always abide. Come on, yes. Y'all say. He makes good thoughts of us to bring us to our expected end. He's gonna bring us to our expected end. Yes, yes, sir. We're gonna talk about that tonight. We face, I know with him we will win. I'm gonna win. Oh, yes. He is everything that I need and more. Come on. There it is. Yes, sir. Oh, yes. Whenever I'm up against it, he's the way and he's the door. I'm just trying to get to the good part and I'm going to pull it down. Oh, yes. Come on. That's it. Say that he cares for you. He will bring you through. He promised he's going to bring you through. He knows. That's why. Said he knows just what to. Everybody. Oh, yes. Come on. Put your hands together right there. That track is hot. That track is hot. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what y'all say. I got to get out of here. I ain't listening to all of it tonight. I have a very special guest tonight, so I had to cut off my music because, boy, do I have a good one for us tonight. One of the most successful young men in this area. Most people don't even know their names, but they know the guys. They the three brothers that that has been successful. People that I asked us, like, I have on tonight, Mr. Manning, Trinity Manning. And they was like, who is that? I was like, you remember the three black guys that made it? Oh, I know them. Everybody know them. They are great examples to what we're doing. They are powerful. And so tonight, I have a very special guest. Get your books out. We talking about success. We're talking about finances. We're talking about partnership. He is going to drop nuggets on us to talk to us about how he got where he is and all that good stuff. Trinity Manning, Winston-Salem native and entrepreneur at heart, is the co-founder and CEO of Once Logics, LLC, a business application development company based in North Carolina. He graduated from Wake Forest University with degrees, y'all, with an S, in communication and business in 2002. I work at Wake Forest, so I know how smart he is to get degrees from both of these places. After a chance meeting while mowing his lawn back in 2004, Trinity saw a need for people to be able to manage their documents, their documentations and process on their behavioral health clients online. And so in one night, after 11-hour stint of programming, he created ShareNote.com, a web-based practice management application. Today, ShareNote is being used in 25 states by more than 600 different companies with thousands of doctors, therapists, counselors, psychiatrists, and other professionals. Once Logic has been featured in tech blogs and magazines, including the Huffington Post, Black Enterprise, and even Forbes. They have received multiple awards for ShareNote.com, as well as being recognized as one of the best employers in the Southeast. Trinity has had the opportunity to speak at churches, schools, colleges, tech forums, and other venues all over the country while mentoring with a focus on young Black men. He's not programming or running the company. When he's not programming or running the company alongside his business partners, you can probably find him somewhere riding on a motorcycle, somewhere playing golf. God bless him. I'm going to see how good he is. Or daydreaming because he wants to be an R&B singer. That's what he wants to be, y'all. That's what that's what he thought it was going to be. Y'all, welcome to this Behind the Veil, Mr. Trinity Manning. Thank you. I wish I had some
Hey,
hand clap. Hands, clap, 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 clap.
thank you so much for that warm welcome. I am ecstatic to be with you guys today and with you, Bishop. And I think that it's the perfect time for conversations like this. And I
Yes.
think that, one of the vibe that I've gotten from you is that you aren't afraid to talk about the tough stuff.
No.
And a lot of times talking about finances for us, especially for people of color, it's a tough conversation
Yep.
because it's in the forefront of our mind. It's that next paycheck, or when can I take that vacation, or when can I just have some time off, when will I be able to have enough money to get that house or to add that new addition, or anything like that. So we're always thinking about it. I mean, I saw something, it was online, and it made so much sense. I mean, whether your eyes are open or closed, you are spending money. When you're breathing, you are spending money. So we always think about it, whether you're having to pay a mortgage on your house, a car payment, or daycare, or anything, Netflix. We're paying for it whether we're watching it or not. So um, talking about money and finances is a big piece. So I'm really excited to get your questions, and we can have a nice little conversation. And I'll introduce what I can, and I'll tell you guys everything that I know. And I think that's kind of part of it.
I wanted to say thank you so much. I wanted to say and welcome, man, to Behind the Veil.
Mhm.
I wanted to say Rod Brown was the one. I met Rod in at Winston Salem State. You know, they wouldn't let me in Wake Forest, uh, but we met at Winston Salem State, and that's who I called, and he had a situation to come up, and then Trinity just out of the goodness of his heart, he was available. This was a perfect timing, and he stepped in. And so I thank Rod for making this connection, because I enjoyed him ever so briefly when we talked today. It's like, man, this is a Kendrick brother right here.
Yeah.
And so, man, I'm so thankful. We got to start with now. Let me say this, you all. We've been watching you guys. You all have been examples, and it's three of you. I know
Mhm.
you and Rod, and who's the other one?
Tyrone McLaughlin.
Tyrone
Mhm.
McLaughlin. They have
Tyrone.
been on news things. We have watched them, and I was particularly interested in you all's transition to wealth and being successful, simply
Mhm.
because I went to school with Ron.
Yeah.
So, we got to be somewhere the same age. And I'm like, oh snap, he's stepping off of jets. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God. Y'all
Yeah.
got private jets, and he is doing it, not being boastful, but
Mhm.
showing us that we can be productive young
Absolutely.
men. And you all, I want to tell you from my heart, you all are great examples to the African American community, and we thank you for
Well,
being successful. So now we're gonna get into how did all this start? Lord have mercy.
man, it's a long story and a short story at the same time. I mean, you know, I come from um, a background of probably very similar to a lot of people that's watching, or that's a part of your congregation, or whatnot. I mean, we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. You
Hey,
know,
that's right.
my mom, we used to play this game when we came home, and me and my two brothers, two older brothers, we would get to the house, and she would say, "All right, Robert, I mean, third Trent Denard," she would say, "Hey, when we get in the house, I need you guys to get in the bed, to go change your clothes and get in the bed. I need you to do this all without turning on any lights." It was the most fun that we ever had. Like, we would just do it in the dark.
Right.
And little did we know it was because the
Lights was off.
electricity was off. So
That's
I
right.
mean, it was a lot of that. And that is what I wanted to. As I got older, I had to find a way to not experience those things. Um, for us, it becomes a way of life until you see something different. And I think that
Right.
that's why we call this "Where's the Table?" because a lot of us don't even know what we need to see.
That's
because
right.
we don't even have access to certain things. We don't even know the right questions to ask.
That's
You
right.
know, I saw it was a joke. I think maybe Cat Williams or somebody said he was talking about Michael Jackson and how Michael Jackson had a giraffe, and he was talking about, that's different kind of money. Y'all don't even know where to get a giraffe from.
Steve
So
Harvey.
right, okay, yeah, Steve Harvey. So
He
there you
sure
go.
did.
Yeah, and we don't know where to get certain things from, and it can be as simple as starting a business. A
That's
lot
right.
of us say it all the time, but we don't necessarily know the steps to truly start a business. How much it
Right.
costs? What does it mean? What does it mean for me, in terms of taxes? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? All of that stuff we don't necessarily at the beginning know. And then as you start to think about, hey, where can I get capital? Where can I get funding? And how can we make $1 million?
Yeah.
That's so far of a dream. And when all you're doing is doing hair, well, excuse me, when you're doing hair in your kitchen, it's
Right.
hard to think about making that a big business. But
Right.
one of the things that I preach and teach is having the ability to turn your side hustle into your main hustle, or
I
taking your
love it.
passion and making that your main thing. Because in everything that we do, everything is marketable. Everything, whether you make peanuts or anything, whatever you love to do, it is marketable in some way. If you play basketball, you love basketball, you didn't make it to the pros, but guess what? You could start a sports clinic if you were that good. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Gotcha.
different ways and different avenues that we can make money. We just have to know where to look. And that's really what I want to talk about tonight for you guys.
We're gonna talk about where is the table? Where is the
Mhm.
table? So you all found out in his bio, he said he was doing the cutting his grass,
Yes.
and then I guess an idea came to you to.
No. So this lady, I'm cutting my grass outside. I got on a t-shirt and some shorts, and I'm literally cutting my grass. And I'm maybe 23, maybe 24. It was back in 2004. So this lady comes up to me. She was like, "Hey, are you Trinity?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Trinity." She was like, "Well, your neighbor told me about you. She said that you do websites." And I was like, "Yeah, I do websites." So she wanted a website for her company, and her company just so happened to be that she owned group homes.
Got you. Yes.
And every time we would meet, so I was doing a website for her company, but every time we would meet, she would have one of those, like those paper accordion file things.
Uh-huh. Yes.
She always had them. Everybody had them. I was like, what in the world is going on? What's up with all this paper? And she said, this is the documentation that we have to have on all of our clients multiple times a day, and so on and so forth. And I was like, does it have to be on paper? She was like, well, what other way is it? And, I know she was like, yeah, we use Word a little bit or maybe Excel, but really everybody just turns it in on paper. And I was like, I think I got a better way. So I actually took her blank forms. And that night, literally that night, from 10 o'clock at night, and I was done at 9 o'clock the next morning. I bought the domain sharenote.com. I designed the website, set up the database, did the programming of the very first version of ShareNote in one night.
Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, what possessed you to
Well, because it was
just
like,
because of her need?
it was because of her need. And I knew that I could do something. I knew that I could create a simple database that allowed her to manage her clients, manage the staff, and put in all the notes and stuff. I mean, I made it perfect. So I took the forms that she had, designed them exactly like it was. So all her staff had to do was just type in what they were normally used to typing in and saving it. And
Wow.
instead of having to print it out and give it to her, it was all in a centralized database where she could log in and see all the notes and stuff like that. And what's funny is that she came back to me when I showed it to her, and she said, hey, if you add this, and this, you might really want to market this thing. I immediately went back, added a time clock because she wanted her staff to be able to clock in and clock out and stuff like that. I immediately added them that next day. And she was like, wow, we really want to use this. She was like, how much is it? I hadn't even thought anything about what to charge. I said, give me $200. And what's crazy is that the first people that used the system for $200 still to this day were using the system for that original $200, and they used the system for 18 years for $200 one time.
Oh
So
no, not
yeah,
one time.
I mean, you got to think. I mean, it's fine. They were my first people. They told me what to do and all that kind of stuff. So for them, I mean, I think it was an easy
That is amazing. So
trip.
so you're now, you done already started at the gate.
Yeah.
With me having questions, and everybody, if you have any questions, let's throw them, because we're trying to find out, like, what possessed you to be so consistent about, let me change this, let me do this now. Was there an urgency, and is that a part of our problem, that we
That
don't do the urgency?
that is at the base of it. Let me. I always ask this question when I start out. Right. I say, and if you have kids, let's say you got kids, you have children,
Yes,
right?
I have
Okay,
children.
right.
I
You
have
would
an
do
older son, and now I
and
got a 10-year-old who just thinks she runs the world. So
exactly. So that 10-year-old that runs the world right now. Okay. And it's a bad situation, but I don't want to speak out anything bad, but you'll understand the analogy that I'm saying.
right,
If somebody said you got you got 7 days to come up with an idea that is going to generate money, and if you don't come up with this idea, I'm taking your 10-year-old daughter.
oh, I'm coming up with an idea.
You are going. You won't stop at anything
That's
in
right.
order to get it done.
That's right.
That is the sense of urgency that we need to always have. That's the
Gotcha.
problem. And I read this other thing, and I always keep these little quotes. It's like, if you give if you give somebody 30 days to complete a project, they're going to probably start working on it on the 28th or 29th day. If you give them
Right.
3 days, you're going to have that same project done in those 3 days. It's based
Gotcha.
on our expectations. So if we set those same kinds of goals for ourselves, then there's nothing that can stop us. If we have that same sense of urgency as if everything will be taken away from us tomorrow,
Yeah.
we'll do everything that's necessary to keep it. And that is how I act every single day, as if it can be taken away, because it can be.
Got you.
It can be. So,
Somebody shared with me to be able to do this, and a lot of people say that I do a lot. So
mhm,
I I pastor two churches. I have my podcast. I do, you can tell, I do my music in my house. So I got my own there. I This is all my camera work. Da 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 da. And people always asking me, how are you doing so much? And I got to be like you. I got to figure out how to market all this stuff. I ain't
yeah.
quite figured that out yet, but I create a deadline for myself. I
Mhm.
don't give myself a long time to ponder, because I found out we all got a spirit of procrastination, man, that
It's
runs
there.
deep
It is.
down
It's like
in our
genetic
bones.
almost, right? Yeah.
And, and so I give myself a deadline. And so it's like what you were saying. There's this sense of urgency, like I got to hurry up and get this done. So
Yeah.
I love that. And was that arbitrarily what you had? You just, because you said you saw the lady,
Yeah.
you saw the need, and then you just went and started doing forms?
I just knew, I was like, because so my passion, I had gotten into just programming, and all programming is solving um problems, and I love to solve a problem, and I was like,
Gotcha.
oh, I can just solve this problem. Let me backpedal on one of the things that you just said, and I'm going to say this. I'm going
No,
to say,
look, we behind the veil.
yeah.
You get to say
So
whatever you want to say.
this is something that I learned. So our people, very talented. We can
Yes.
do we cook, we can run, we can catch, we can be lawyers, we can do all these things. I was singing, I was a professional photographer, programming, I am doing these speaking engagements, I'm doing all of these things, right?
Right.
I only became successful when I said, you know what? I'm I have to eliminate all the rest of this stuff and let me focus on this thing that is going to take me
Yep.
further. Because I was
Yep.
like, they say don't put all your eggs in one basket. I think that's kind of a fallacy. Yes, you don't want to, you need to de-risk, but at the same time, sometimes you need to put all of your energy behind
Into
one
one thing.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
right. I agree with you.
yeah,
Because it has been an Achilles heel because I'm so talented in so many different areas that you find yourself doing so many different
so many
things,
things.
but maximizing.
Not maximizing.
You're not maximizing. So
Yeah,
I agree with you
yeah.
100%. I
Because
agree with you.
there, regardless of what people say, there is no such thing as balance. It's
Uh-oh.
not. I want people now. Don't get me wrong. Yes, you don't need to be doing too much, but realize that if you are doing something, something else is failing. Okay. So if you are working hard on building your business, you're probably not doing a whole as much as you can in your family life.
I
You
got
know,
you.
you
I
see what
hear
I'm
you.
saying? If you're pushing really hard in building a business, you may not be working out and taking care of your body as much as you probably should. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
something is losing in some way when you are laser focused.
I
And
got you.
that is why you have to have the right people around you to understand the laser focus and not get offended by your laser focus.
I
And
love
that is the crab in the barrel mentality that we have. They're like, oh, you doing too much. Why do we say that? Oh, you doing too much. That is our classic statement. And really, when we say that, we are really bringing down people who are really trying to better themselves. We
yeah.
need to change that mentality and say, yo, what can I do to help? And that's the difference.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that. I'm
Yeah.
taking notes, y'all.
Yeah, yeah. And that is where Rod and Ty came in.
Okay.
And another piece of the puzzle too was that I was doing this. So I was designing, programming, doing all this. And then I was out trying to sell it myself. And I was out trying to do some accounting and keep up with the expenses and all that kind of stuff by myself.
Wow.
By myself. And that was it was all I wanted to do was program. That's it.
Gotcha.
All I wanted to do was cook chicken.
Yeah.
That's it. In the restaurant, you gotta have that chef that just focus on cooking chicken.
Cooking the chicken. So
Yeah,
how did you know these were the two guys?
man.
Because I agree with you. A part of the problem that we're having is not that we're not good at what we do. I'm gonna say that
Yes,
it is not having the right team.
yeah. This
that
is
I'm
it's
that
people.
I'm finding out. It's you gotta have the right team. You
Mhm.
gotta have people willing to want to work and can see the vision and will run
Vision.
with it. But when you don't have that, so I'm like, now you got two brothers. Now,
Listen, Rod, I was offered, get this. I'm running with ShareNote though. I'm getting people on the system 2004, boom, 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 getting people over here, getting people over there, going to Spencer, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, all over. I blanketed North Carolina in my own car, just driving and getting people because I was so excited about this product. And I had gotten noticed. And long story short, I had gotten a buyout offer very, very quickly for
wow,
$80,000. $80,000. I
wow,
was going to give me $80,000 cash to take over what I had. I immediately said no because I knew I could make $80,000.
got you.
But $80,000 at one time was very, very different when you're 20, 24 years old.
What? Yes.
Actually, when you're 42, 55, 80,000 at one time is still a lot of money that people are going to be like, hmm. But I had gotten an acquisition off. I didn't know anything about acquisitions or anything like that. This company came and flew me up to Baltimore. I get off a plane down, and then they get out and they take me. We go out to Ray Lewis's restaurant, and they doing all this whining and dining and stuff like that. I didn't know what was going on. I'm just eating.
Right.
And little did I know, they made me an offer for my technology because I had added in some technology that allowed signatures, forensic signatures.
Yes.
I
Yes.
said,
Yes. Yes.
this was way back. Now everybody can do signatures, DocuSign, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I wish I would have created DocuSign, but I actually created a way that you could use your stylus that it would be forensically usable as a signature so they could go totally paperless with their
Wow.
documentation. So I was one of the first ones doing that. And this company wanted all of that. They literally offered me millions of dollars right then.
Wow.
And that was when I went back and I'm at a table. Imagine me on this one side of the table, and all these white faces are on the other side of the table.
Yes.
And they shove over this number and all these paperwork and all this kind of stuff. I'm boiling over, like not knowing what to do. And I said, something told me that, hey, this is too much. It's a lot of y'all. It's only one of me. Let me take this back. Can I think about it? And where do we go as Black people when we got some questions or our heart isn't settled? Where we go? We go into the church
We
house.
go to the church. They come to the church.
I told my pastor what was going on. He created this roundtable of all the business people, the successful business people in the church, and he invited me over to say what was happening and ask what I should do. This big round table, all these successful businessmen at the table. It was amazing. Everybody said no until they got to this last person, and that person said, "Bruh, if they trying to offer you that, that means you can probably make 10 times that. You really need to swing for the fences." That was
Wow.
Rod Brown. That was Rod.
Wow.
Yep.
Really?
Rod quit his $300,000+ a year job at a popular banking
Yeah.
company,
Yes. Yes.
left it, and came and worked with me.
He was the
Yeah.
one person who said, bruh,
He was the one person
because
who said, "Now, don't take that little bit of money because you can make more.
yeah,
Like
if
you
they
can make
offering
more. You
you
obviously
millions,
have something." Yeah.
yeah, if
So
they offering you millions, then they see tens
so
of millions.
yeah. So we should
So
be able to see that. Yeah.
did you how did you own this? Did you copyright this? Did you patent this? Like after you got it, you had the presence of mind to say this is something good. What process did you go through for that?
Yeah,
Because
we started doing
again,
trademarks and patents. But the thing about software is that it's it's very hard to do a patent for software,
got you,
especially code,
got you.
because all someone has to do is change a couple lines and make it their own.
Make
So
it their own code.
it's different than say copying music because you have
Got you.
specific notes and stuff like that, and now people can say, "Oh, you took that." And there is code that, "Oh, you took this concept from me," but the concept of database and data driven applications that had already been out. So what we did, myself, Rod, and that was when we got with Ty as well, because we knew all of us went to the same church.
Got you. So you all are church.
All of
You all are the church guys.
We are the church guys,
Oh
and
man, that
Rod
is
and
so good.
Ty were like the financial guys at church. Like they were guys that I looked up to. Like when he said that he was doing, like I didn't know what to do. I was like, I must have something if this smart, successful man wants to
Very
come
much so.
and work with me. So
Wow.
yeah,
And out of all the room at the tables, he was the one that
he
said,
was the
"Nah,
one that
bro."
said, "Bro, let's swing. You need to swing for the fences." And no sooner than that, we were talking later that day, and we were we had been working and stuff, and then we brought in Ty. And the thing too about partnerships is that, and I get emotional when I think about it, is that Rod and Ty came in and they allowed me to just focus on cooking chicken. They took over everything else. And not only did they take over everything else, they said, "Trinity, we're going to build this thing so that the income is enough to cover your current income so that you can quit your job." We
Wow.
worked hard. They worked their tails off. Rod put probably 130, 140,000 miles on his car in 1 year running so that I could stop working and that I could focus 100% of my time on building this thing. And that's the
What
thing
made
about partners. People don't find You don't find those kinds of partners that are willing to sacrifice themselves, follow the vision, and say, "All right, this is bigger than us. let's get it so that it can really be bigger than us.
What made you decide to trust that?
When I saw it working, I
Got you.
mean, the proof is in the pudding. We had we put these numbers on the wall, and this is another thing that you have to do. You have to see your goal. We put 83,333 on our wall in big numbers. The reason why we put 83,333 is because in order to make $1,000,000 monthly, you have to make
83. That's right.
$83,333.
That's right. That is true. I've done the math.
Right. So, but if you break it down too, it's like, wait, so how do we get to six figures? Oh, it's just 8,333 a month. All right, well, how do we get to $10,000? Destin, how do we get to $10,000? Sorry, how do we get to
You're right.
$10,000? It's just $833 a month. That's all we needed to do was $833 a month. And this was when Ty created. We switched from paying one time to the monthly
To
subscription.
the monthly
When we
subscription.
check, like now it's like, oh yeah, monthly subscriptions is it. But back then it was
It was
not.
rare. It was
It was you just pay this money.
right.
Like Photoshop was $7.99 or $8.99. Now you can get it for $20 a month.
That's
You see
right.
what I'm saying? So it,
That's right.
it reduces the barrier, but you are constantly paying for the same thing over and over and over and over. And they were like, dude, you have something that people will pay for over and over and over and over and over. So we had to get more people. Not, you can do the math.
Yeah.
Get thousands of people paying $50 a month.
That's right. Look, Microsoft does it all the time. And
Yeah, everybody's
anytime
doing
you go, you can buy a computer, but you got to spend X amount of dollars to get
it per
the
month.
the,
Yes.
the word, and then they'll tell
Yeah, the
you,
office subscription.
yep, you can get everything up to date if you do it monthly. I was like, boy, y'all making it. It
Yeah,
used to come
this was
as one package.
and for me, if it wasn't for Ty thinking the way that he did and Rod, I was like, because we had gotten it up to it was $9.99, and people were just paying it because you got to think paying $1,000 was very small compared to back in that time getting a electronic health record system. It was,
Right,
you had to buy servers and get people come install it. It was you're talking about six figures just to get a system, but
right.
give us $1,000 bucks. But then we switched it to $10 a user, and I was like, are we sure we're gonna be able to afford it with $10 a user? Man, next thing I know, that money started rolling in, and it was a beautiful thing. But also with the partnership, you have to remember too, Rod, myself, and Ty, we went almost 2 years without taking any money from the business.
So let's talk about it. Talk about that sacrifice. Got you.
Yeah, because it's a baby,
Yeah.
right? You'll do everything for that. If you don't have food for yourself, you're gonna make sure your baby is fed, right?
Right.
Because that baby didn't you like you got to give all the energy to the baby. And that's what we were doing. We were like, everything that comes in, we got to reinvest it right back into the baby. Because the baby needs us. The baby needs diapers. The baby needs marketing. The
Right.
baby needs to be able to pay for some of the miles on all these cars.
Yeah.
We're doing that kind of stuff. We need computers. We need servers. All of that. So we had to take our time and go keep it all inside the business to make so that it can walk on its own. And that's what happens. A lot of times people are so premature to take money out and use it for their own personal that they
Right.
forget the baby still needs to gain some strength to walk on its own. And people don't have these businesses to walk on their own.
Man, this story is so phenomenal because
It's
it
like,
talks about trusting in the partnership.
mhm.
You that story in and of itself, to for you to be able to have people to buy into your vision and then
Mhm.
trust that they weren't going to run away with it.
Right. Yeah, and that was the thing, and they didn't have technology backgrounds or anything like that, and but they knew business, and that's what you need. It's not just hire your cousin or your
Right.
uncle or your mother. It's not that. Hire them if they have the specific skills that you need. It's no real problem to work with family if they have the skills.
Right.
But a lot of times we keep people, all of us, ministry is a big culprit of keeping people in places just simply because they've been in that place for a long time.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
And here we go. You know, I told you we talk about the tough stuff
yeah.
because I think people stay where they are too long,
It's
and then it
comfortable,
becomes so ownershipish that you'll never get a Joshua.
man.
You'll never find another you. Yeah, and the church. I'm notorious because of my giftedness, and I said I've got
Yeah,
to learn how to just sit back and let it fall, so other people can learn how to do it. Because I'm like, look, y'all ain't gonna do it. Let me go ahead and do it.
yeah,
And it is a problem. And
yeah.
I realized I'm going to see. I said I was going to go sit on the couch and
Yeah.
talk to somebody because I'm doing too much. I'm just doing
Well,
too
you
much.
are, but you have to understand that if the organization can't go smoothly for a day without you in it,
Yeah.
that becomes bondage too. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? So we've all been in that position. I'm gonna tell you something funny that I do at churches, right? So we travel all over and stuff like that. A lot of times I'll stay during the weekend. I'll just go to a church. I like going to smaller churches. Just I feel like it's an intimate setting and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you hit the Creflo Dollars and go down to Potter's house and stuff like that. But this is what I'll do. I'll come in, I'll get there on time. I'll go sit on the front row, right? The thing that I noticed about the front row, my, you can get the worst looks like, who does this person think they
See?
are
That's
to
right.
come and sit on the front row? Don't you know that that is Deacon
That's right.
Smith's seat?
That's right. That's right.
And that right there becomes a barrier to our ministries
Yeah, that's right. You're telling the
because
truth.
we got all this hierarchy and stuff like that when people just want to come and get word and not be judged and made to feel bad because we parked in your parking space. Like,
That's right.
so that's the same thing with business. And black people, we got to do better in terms of customer service. I don't know what it is with the stereotype, but we have to be able to take care of our people. And that is across the board in
Yeah,
business, because ministry is a business.
that's right. That's right.
And
That's right.
people are coming for a product.
That's right. That is
And
you
if
telling the
they
truth.
don't get what they think that the value out of the product, then they are going to find another place to get that product. So that is why we in our businesses and our ministries and everywhere, we have to figure out the best way to make the connection with our customers. And that's
Where
what
did
we had
you
to do.
where did you come this mentality? Because you sound like the guy that you if somebody wanted that product, you made sure that the product was in place. You made
There is, I'm telling it got bad though, because it's a danger when you become a yes person,
I
right?
got you.
Because I was saying yes to everything because I didn't know what to say no to. And then it got overwhelming. And then that's when bad customer service comes in because you say yes to stuff that you're not able to get in or it doesn't work properly or something like that. And then you
Right.
start to lose people.
Right.
And that is where you have to get that right equilibrium of saying, all right, we can add something like that, but we need to wait to make sure that the need is there from people that aren't just this one provider. We were adding in stuff just because one company said, hey, we need this, but
Right.
it was very different than the needs of somebody else. And so you have to get that specific set of tools that works for overall as opposed to just that one person. So yeah, I was been like, we go meet, and if somebody said no, I would say, why are you saying no? Oh, because it doesn't do XYZ. Oh, okay.
You'll
It
make
was
it do
so
X, Y,
funny that
D.
he would be in a demo. He would say, man, we're losing these people because they're saying that the system doesn't calculate the units for the notes. I would literally be sitting there programming, give me about an hour and a half, 90 minutes or whatever. By the end of his demo, he would say, let's refresh this and look again. Boom, it would be in there. That's how good we were. That's how nimble we were, that I could literally sit there in the kitchen, make what they need as they were sitting there talking about
Oh my God.
it. Yeah.
Where'd you get this gift from?
It was I I failed computer science. That's why you see it's not computer science is
Yeah.
my degree. I failed computer science and when I went to Wake Forest, but it was because of I wasn't doing it for myself. Once I started to program for myself, it's the same thing. Most people, after they get out of school, they don't really read because they were forced to read
Right.
for a book report or something like that. But you unlock something different in your mind once you start to read for yourself, right?
See.
And
Yes,
make
sir.
it a joy. Like this is my passion. I everything that had to do with programming, I was on it. So much so that I lost my marriage. And this is the first, I'm telling you, this is the realest part about it. That's why I said there's no balance. If
Right.
I'm working 16, 18, 20 hours a day and your wife or my wife wasn't feeling like a priority for years.
That's
This
right.
wasn't just, oh, she was just mad at something. It was years
Yeah.
of it.
Been there, done that, brother. Been there, done that.
That's what I'm saying.
Pursuing with no real balance.
No balance.
Yeah, just
So
pursuing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And being a father, doing all that stuff, it was my brain was like, how can I make this thing better? And
Yeah.
that's all I was on. I had become consumed with making this product the best it could be, and that's a good thing
And a
and a bad
bad thing.
thing.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. Uh, man, I have so many questions because I
We
want
might need to do a part two.
man, listen, this is so yeah. I mean, because we almost went, uh,
Yeah,
and we ain't even got nowhere.
we
But
ain't even got nowhere
you have
yet.
dropped so many nuggets. Um, what is the when you see because we're talented, our people are
Mhm.
talented, right?
Yeah,
What made you successful, and what make others?
yeah. So
What
everybody,
make others not successful? How
right?
about that?
Yeah, everybody can make money. Everybody can create something. Everybody can. They say that the most ideas are in the grave and in prisons, right?
Right.
So the problem is that we have these ideas, but we don't know where the table is. We don't know how to execute on those ideas outside of Main Street businesses. And this is no shade. When I say Main Street businesses, that's, cooking, making a restaurant
Right. Right.
or
Right.
doing hair and stuff like that. Things that aren't necessarily scalable on a national level. Yes, you can open up some more franchises and stuff like that. That's a possibility, but it's very hard in the restaurant business to compete
Yeah.
with the McDonald's and all of that. So for us, the difference between success and not being successful is your willingness to devote all of your energy to it. That's why Michael Jordan is as good as Michael Jordan is, and how he could probably still at 55 plus or 60, wherever he is right now, still
Yeah.
beat and compete
Yeah.
because he dedicated everything to it, right? He dedicated everything to learning about the craft. And that's all that we were doing, was learning as much as we could about the industry. Find out what the need is, fulfill that need. That's it. That is really it, is learning how to fulfill that need in the best and most efficient way and making people feel good about it. You got to make people feel good about your product, because people buy into a story and they are loyal based on customer service, not price. Price is secondary, because
That's
you've
good.
been to Del Fresco's or Ruth's Chris or whatever, you've tasted a 60, 70, $100 steak. To most
Right.
people, it seems crazy. But
Yeah.
when you bite into that buttery filet and that ribeye, it's just, you eat it all and everything, that sweet, like the way they make it is so good. Yes, you spent $200 on your meal, but you are fully satisfied
Satisfied.
and you are not upset at all. But if you go and spend $30 and that steak is rubbery at Texas Roadhouse
Yeah.
and all that, you are mad
That's
at
right.
that $30
That's right. That's right.
because you did not get the value. And that's the difference, is what can we do to give value back to our people?
So here, somebody asking questions. Do you think that age may be a barrier to success at a certain point? That's a great question.
Absolutely not. It's never too early and it is never too late. You can Google right now, Google the 12-year-old who made $2 million last year selling ice cream. Google Ryan right now, who started his YouTube channel playing with toys, and they made $24 million at the age of 7 years old.
That's
It's
right.
never too early, right? And
Yep.
the same thing with it being too late. It's never too late. You have skills, right? It could be anything, whether you carpentry or mentor. Most of us have something in us that we can teach to other people. Even if you started some mentoring,
Yep.
some kind of you can start a behavioral health company right now. You could start a a lot of times, you got on a nice shirt and stuff like that. You could start a business or your own clothing line. You could
Right.
start a business helping to clothe other pastors because y'all ain't got no time.
Right.
You
You
see
got
what
no
I'm
time.
saying? So
Right.
it's money to be made everywhere you look. Everywhere.
You talk about it because I mean, because what I'm hearing is passion. What I'm hearing then is focus.
Yes.
Uh, all in energy,
Yeah.
all in. Um, what I'm hearing is because this whole thing was about getting to the table.
Yeah.
So it is passion, it is focus, it is um, teamwork, if you will.
Mhm.
Uh,
We
and the
we
other thing,
have to erase the thought that making $100,000 is the goal. That has been the black person's goal for forever. If you got a salary of six figures, if I can just make six figures, my
right,
whole life is going to be different. And a lot of us strive to do that.
right,
But imagine getting a salary of $100,000. And a lot of people make it, some people do, some people don't. But the thing about that $100,000 that you're making in a salary from your employer, that is the maximum amount that they're willing to pay you so that you keep coming back the next day.
yep,
What you're doing is generating. If you're making $100,000, you're probably generating millions for the company. You see what I'm saying? They can afford to pay you more. You know your value, and this is why your business, you can determine your value if you just do good business, and that's it.
I,
There's no limit. We talking about making 100,000. Imagine making 100,000 in a month.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and
we
that's
got some
possible.
100,000. We got some $100,000 weeks.
Yeah, ooh, that's
So
good stuff.
when I tell you that life, there's another level to life. Things that become, you know, commonplace that you never thought would be there. And the biggest thing is options.
Yes,
Money and treating your finances right gives you options.
options.
So
Now
I
I
have
can
the option tomorrow of sleeping in the whole entire day if I want to, or getting
right,
up and playing some golf and saying, "Hey, I'm coming to bust up on your head tomorrow if I want to."
right.
You see what I'm saying? Because you have options and you being in control of your time. You can't pay me enough money now to change how this situation is right now.
How did you overcome? Yeah, because okay, your partnership is developed in the church. Here is a problem that I think the church has. They str- we struggle with.
Say it
Ooh,
plain.
can I say this, y'all? Don't get mad. But we struggle with. Oh, you can make 100,000 in a day.
Mhm.
I think the church has desensitized people that maybe that's too much. How did you change your mindset that the sky was the limit, that it's okay? Because some people really don't think, Trinity, some people really don't think that if you make 100,000 in a day, if you make tens of millions of dollars, some people really do believe that that's too much. How did
Well,
you change your mindset?
so and I'll be honest on some things as well. In terms of money, just straight money's just the tool. So
Gotcha.
and instead of, because I remember a time when I thought that paying $100 for a pair of shoes, probably all of us thought $100 for a pair of shoes, like it's
Right.
the craziest thing in the world. So I always say that everything is relative when it
Okay.
comes to money. So you just, uh, you say, is $50,000 enough to make? Is it a good salary? Absolutely, until you make 50,000.
Right. Say it,
You see what I'm
Trinity.
saying?
Say it. It's
Yeah. Is
it's
is a
great
100,000 good? It absolutely is
until
until you
you make
make
it.
100. I'm telling you, when you make 100, boy, all you want is 120 and 140. Because our problem is that we get 50 and start to live a $60,000 life and a
Now, that is true.
$70,000 life.
That is true.
That's our problem right
That
now.
is true.
So if we can, it's not too much if the tool is being used properly. If you got a whole bunch of money and all you're doing is buying jewelry and cars and being irresponsible and gambling, stuff like that, yeah, it's too much, and you're being irresponsible. But then that's just that person. But if you can divert those funds to do the right things, if you are truly going to help your community, if you're truly setting things up to help your family, if you're truly trying to create a legacy that we talk about, then
Yeah,
it's never it's never too much money. Like
I agree.
I'd love to have enough money right now that I wouldn't have to worry or think about money ever again. And
Right.
that's not the case.
Right.
But the cool thing about, once you start making money, it's very easy to make more money, right?
Y'all
Because
hear that?
we are at a point now, because we started more businesses, and it took us. I remember when we first made that 883 333. We had a party in the office. We got that last customer that put us over the thing, and it was spectacular, and it was great. And it took us years to get to that point.
Right. Right. Right.
We just started business. We were just talking to Rod
Yeah.
earlier. Less than 6 months, we started a trucking company that's gonna do 1.7 in 6 months. So I think that once you start to learn the ropes of things, you know how to kind
You
of
know
take
how to
those
do it.
shortcuts, because you don't have those pitfalls that you were doing before. You're like, boom, let's go ahead and do this. And you have the capital to run. I had the capital to just buy $120,000 truck.
Right.
Most people can't do that. But
Right.
yeah.
Right. Now,
So
did you have to get investments? I got, because I got a second question to ask you. Did
yeah.
you have to get investments? When you first start your
Share note.
business, because a
You know how
lot
much,
of
you know
people.
how much share note cost me to start?
How much?
$6.99. That was the cost of the domain name, back when you could buy a domain for $7. That was all it cost. Because the thing about it is, I had the knowledge to be able to create. So that's the thing. I didn't have to pay a programmer to create something for me.
Because
That
it's a part of your passion. It's a part of your giftedness. And what I try to
exactly.
tell people is pursue. I always tell them, now you may agree or not agree, and we got a few minutes, and I'm gonna let
Yeah,
you go because I thank you for your time. I always tell people, purpose to me is where passion and ability meets. I
absolutely.
always say that.
Yeah,
And I say, if you don't have the passion, you may have the ability, but if you don't have the passion, that ain't the purpose for that moment.
right.
You gonna be you're gonna be messed up. So
Yeah, yeah,
uh
and there are certain times where you might be given some talent that you do begrudgingly, just because it's not like your passion,
yeah,
but you can do it.
right.
And there are times where you need to just go
Do
ahead
it.
go ahead and do it. So yeah.
Do you think you would be as successful as you are without the partnership?
No,
Gotcha.
no. There is no way. There's no way on this earth. And even now, when I have my own way to fund my own stuff, I still want good partners, because I don't need another $1 million business or
Right.
$10 million. I need $100 million business now. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yes.
So in order to get to $100 million, you can't think like a $5 million business anymore.
Yeah. And
We have been fooled to think that we can, like, most of us, it's hard to think about what it would take to get $1 million. So for Black people, like how many millionaires do you think that there are in America in general? Just how many millionaires? Wow, there.
I don't know. I think there are more a million. From what I've been reading, there have been certainly more that have come into play over the last 10 years. I read a lot of Forbes, a lot
Yeah,
of, but
yeah,
there are a lot of people who are not.
yeah.
Uh,
So it's the majority of the planet
they are not.
is
You
not.
know, you talking about maybe 10%, 8%, 10% up. 5%
Yeah.
maybe.
And my thing about that too is that even more so if you break that down into Black people.
Oh
How
yeah,
many African American millionaires do you
that's
think
right.
that we have in comparison to just millionaires all across?
I think
We're
that's real
still
slim.
way, way, way less than 1%.
Yep. Yes, I agree with that 100%.
So we can't, our thought of money comes from LeBron and Oprah. That's
Right.
our and Jay-Z. Oh, they made $1 billion. What does that even mean?
Right.
They're worth $1 billion. Do people understand what it means to be worth $1 billion? People
I
don't
don't think so.
understand.
I don't think
You
so.
you don't understand. But compare that to Elon Musk. 300 plus
Ooh,
billion.
with a B.
Billion. People have to understand the difference between a million and a billion. Like a million, if you have to spend $1, and I hope I got my math right, y'all can Google it or whatever. If you have to spend $1 every second, you would spend $1 million in like 3 months, right? But if you had to spend $1 every second to spend $1 billion, you know how long it would take you if you spent $1 every single second of every single day?
Take you years to do.
13 years. Like people don't understand the difference between that, man.
And
I'm
this guy got
telling you. So
300.
it's but we have to start thinking past 100,000. We got to start thinking about what can make us millions, and the only way we can make millions is if we come together. We can't have 12 small hairstylists doing their thing, but if all 12 of them came and opened up a big salon, they could
Gotcha.
make millions of dollars as opposed to
Partnership.
12 of them doing it out of their house. So
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Partnership and
Partnership.
trusting that partnership. Is that the measure of, because we ain't got nowhere, but I'm gonna keep talking to you because I got your number. Uh uh let's talk about it. I mean, just give us a thing.
It's
Where is this table? Because that's how we started this whole thing.
yeah,
And my thing is, it's definitely in our passion.
yeah.
It's got to be in our focus.
Well, the table, when they say, "Hey, what do I bring to the table?" We've heard the,
Yeah,
"Oh, I am the table," or whatever. But we have to understand what that means. Okay,
yeah.
so
Because
the
there
table
is that
is,
slogan now about "I am the
"I
table."
am the
You talk about
table." Yeah.
bring the table, and I am the table. And I was like, okay,
People are quick to say that, but let's talk about what actually makes the table,
let's do it.
right? Because for me, like I can say I am the table, but even me and the success that I have, I'm not the table. I'm only one of the legs. And people think that they can be the whole table. A
Ooh,
table takes 4 legs or at least 3 to kind of stand on its own, but a true table to be sturdy needs 4 legs. 4 legs, right? So I'm only a piece of that table now,
hmm,
you know, and I am the artist. So there you need to have a artist as a part of your company. So the person that is going to focus on your product, and that's
okay,
it, right? Then you got to have the visionary. So that's different than the artist because the artist is going to do what needs to be done. But you got to have that person like Rod to say, hey, that's great what you're doing, but how can we get that out of North Carolina? How can we get that in Georgia? How can we get that in Louisiana? Which eventually became our 3 top markets. And we're still number one in Louisiana, a 93% market share in the state of Louisiana because
amazing.
we went down there and we camped out and drove all over the state, had these meetings in Holiday Inns and Double Trees and just invited people, come see this. And then they saw people that looked like them.
Yeah,
They wait, and the system works. Oh, we got to jump on this. But back to the table is that, hey, I'm the artist, I can focus on my stuff. Then you got the visionary that says, hey, how do we take this further? Right? And then you
Right.
have the manager. And that manager is the person that focuses on the details of how to connect those two together. And if you don't have, and people can have all of those traits in some way, but it's never going to make the whole thing. You might have one person that can be two, and then the other person that kind of fills it in. That's better than trying to be one person trying to do all three of those positions. It's
I
like one
agree.
person, like a mom trying to be both the mom and the dad. They
Right.
try, they try to give them good values, but we know that there's still a piece is missing, and that's what happens.
In that manager piece, is administration and finance up under that whole piece of administration,
Somebody
finance,
that
and
can
marketing?
think details. Yes, okay. This person can do it. The artist can do it. He can cook it up. He can cook chicken, all that kind of stuff. Our visionary is saying this is where we need to go. We need to go to Louisiana. We need to go to Georgia. And that manager says, okay, those are great. This is how we do it. We need to get this many customers so that we can do X, Y, and Z. We need to have this budgeted here for marketing in this area to spend this much because we know we're going down there, and they're going to be ready for us. We need to go to these conferences. We need to add these features, all that kind of stuff. And then all of them together, I'm telling you, it just makes a beautiful harmony. And you got to have all those pieces. That's your table, is when you can bring all those together and make something. And that's your product. And your product is on that table, and you're bringing all these people to partake in your product. So think of the table as everything that you want coming together in the right way. And don't be so arrogant to say that I am the table, because you're not.
Yeah.
You're not the table just because you make $100,000 and you got a Gucci bag. You're not the table. The table is those people that's paying you that $100,000. That's
Now
the
that is
table.
true.
So, I can let me step off that soapbox before they ain't gonna come back to behind the veil no more. They like,
Oh,
keep that
listen,
Trinity off of there.
you got so much. You have given us so much, and so much to think about. And again, we haven't even touched it, but I cannot keep you. I promised you I was just gonna keep you about an hour. Man, we almost at the hour.
You know,
Uh,
yeah, we've been rolling pretty good, and this is, as you can tell, and for the both of us, I think that the vibe goes so well because we're both really passionate about this, and
yes,
we're both passionate about freeing people. And it's
yes,
free because it's not just you need freedom in your spirit, you need
yes.
freedom in your mind, and
Yep.
once it's opened up and you can see stuff. And I credit this one guy in second grade. His name was Mark. Second grade, he invited me to his house. I'm in second grade. I went to my parents somehow found the money to send me to a private school back when I was in the from second grade to fourth grade. But anyways, it was a private school that had 700 students. Two of us were black, and it was the craziest situation ever. However, Mark invited me to his house. Well, he invited the class to his birthday party to his house. They gave us the address. Um, and I remember it like it was yesterday. We drove down this little corridor, and then we saw this big gate stuff. And we like, oh, okay, this is how we get here. And we go up into this place, and I'm telling you, it was some of the most massive homes I've ever seen in my entire, actually, to that point, I had never seen a house that large, ever.
Wow.
Like not even on TV. Like it was, back in Lifestyles of the Rich and
Yeah.
Famous, maybe, but this was that, and it was in Winston-Salem. We went over
Wow.
to his house, and I remember he had a full NBA size court, right? And they had the pool with a waterfall, and they had an elevator. And I remember playing hide and go seek in his house, in the house,
Wow.
in different wings and stuff. It was the most crazy thing. And I remember going home and crying. I asked my parents, I said, well, how does one person have so much? And why isn't our house this big? Why can't you just go to the bank? You can go to the bank and get some more money and buy a bigger house, right? And
Right.
that was when I found out that it don't work like that.
It don't work like that.
So until I was exposed to that, to be able to see that there was something else out there, that's when my life changed. I'm telling you,
Gotcha.
I credit that. They say you go back to a moment in your life, even that early on in life. I'm telling you, it changed everything that I knew it was something bigger. I knew it was.
Mine happened. Mine was a little later. Mine was in second grade. I'm working at Wake Forest, as a matter of fact. I'm working at Wake Forest, and at that time, I probably saw you on campus and probably walked right by you. Oh,
Maybe.
Lord, forgive me, Lord, better man. Uh, but I had to do a proposal. A proposal was due the next day.
Mm,
Trinity. We missed FedEx. My director then said, "Stephen, I need you to fly to DC. This proposal needs to be there at NIH. That's when you could take the proposal and actually drop it off." And we had to have 15 copies of paper. And we bound it up. And I said, "Well, how are we going to get there?" She said, "I called the jet.
mm,
You're going to meet them first thing in the morning."
uh,
And I go
we,
over to Reynolds, and there's a pilot, two pilots,
yeah,
and I'm sitting on the private jet,
it's a different world.
sir. And the guy said, he flew me there. I got a cab. He said, "Mr. Williams, uh, we'll be back here. We'll be here. What do you want for lunch? Because we're going to go pick up something for lunch, and we'll have that for you when you get ready to fly back."
Mm,
This was for a proposal.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I said, "We do this?" I said, "Y'all live like," that's when Wake had a plane, y'all. But they don't have no
yeah,
plane no more.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, they don't have that anymore. And but I went up there. I didn't go through check no
No,
bag.
sir. Straight on to the tarmac. I'm
I
telling
went
you.
straight to the tarmac. When I came back home, I got back on the plane,
Yeah,
and they had my. I was home. I
yeah,
went to DC in a day.
yeah. Back and
Flew
forth,
up
like, yeah.
like I went to Greensboro.
And it changes your life. And that's the thing. A lot of people will go their lives and they'll never experience
I
flying
never
private. There's a lot of
experienced.
people that go their lives and never experience flying first class
Right.
too.
Now that is
And
true.
so, and that's the other thing is that, fly first class one time and see how you feel the next time you fly.
You'll
You see
never
what
want
I'm
to
saying?
ride.
That's how you elevate life right there. So
So I
yeah.
ask this question, and then I'm gonna give it to you. Can a person have more than one passion, and if so, how does he or she find it? That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Uh, you want to take it?
Yeah, yeah, I'll absolutely. You can, and that is the hallmark of our race and our ethnicity is having multiple things that we want to chase after. And so, if you're able to handle those things, if you've been able to be a success, like you need to get some success first before
Yeah,
you try to take on multiple things. And that's the problem is that we try to do too many things at the same time. So now in addition to technology, now I have the trucking, and then I'm actually doing some retail stuff. I'm actually designing products right now. I've never done retail stuff ever before. But the reason why I can do that now is because I have the proper processes in place to be able to handle multiple things. I don't need to handle, like, I'm not driving the truck. You see what
right.
I'm saying? I got people that are managing that so I can go ahead and work
And
on
do the
on on
next.
other things. And that's the thing too. So yes, you can absolutely have multiple passions, but I would say rank those passions first and which one is going to be the most viable for you, right? Which one is going to get you to a place that is comfortable the fastest, right? So if you want to open a lawn care service, or if you want to open a bakery or whatever, and you can bake and you own some lawnmowers, which one of those can you put all your energy behind and get you to the finish line faster? And that way you create your own capital to be able to open up other stuff.
Gotcha.
So just put
It's
something on the back burner and
Yeah,
then
it's definitely something that I'm going to do. You talking about? I got a book coming out.
yeah,
I got CDs that I'm doing. I do the podcast. I'm preaching, and I'm still not. I work at Wake Forest, so I have so much. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I got so many things, and so you have challenged me to go find which one can I put all my energy in
Yeah.
and be successful
Yeah,
and figure
which
it out.
ones can you put on autopilot, and
Yeah,
or that can allow you to get the things done with the least amount of effort, but you're still successful with
right.
it? Then those things can stay on. But if you're putting a lot of energy behind something and it's not giving you the dividends or the returns or the value back to yourself, or
Got you.
if it's not worth the time that you put in the business, if it is it worth not being with your family and being the husband, if it's not going to give you the future dividends that you need, then focus on something else.
My friend McRaven, he is so funny. Tell me, I did not tell you that last week. Look at him. You get on my
But that's all right.
nerves. You get
That
on my
that
nerves.
yeah, that's all right. And just to kind of add a little bit of realness to this, I'm
That's
42 years old. I got a 24-year-old son.
wow.
I had a child very early in high
Very
school.
early.
I'm
Yeah,
graduating from high school and had a son. So my mindset changed so quickly. Like
yeah.
people out, Wake Forest is a party, and I spend a little bit too much time sometimes over with some state at them
Right,
free
right, right.
bars and gym jams and stuff like that. But you get to a point where it's like, wait, I got another life. So what can I do? So they were partying. I'm designing websites
I
while they out there partying and stuff. So yeah, it's
they
whatever is going to be your why, as they say, and your motivation.
they got me last week because I told them my daughter and my wife told me don't bring nothing else. I told them I think I could be a cop. I like to watch cop shows.
Oh my
So
God.
I said, I think I could be a good investigator. They both looked at me and said, don't you bring not one more
Oh
thing
my
up
God.
in this house. Don't bring a
Yeah, don't do that yet. Don't do that yet.
listen.
I got a few things to do, but I know too. One of the things, and I'll say it right here as well. One of the things that I know that I want to get into, because I think that the only way that you can really make some change is if you're actually at that same table,
Right.
is politics. And if one more person asked me to run for office, I think that that's in my future. I mean, unfortunately, I got a little bit of time before I really need to, but I think that to truly make the change that we need, we have to have those. We have to have those. That's why senators, they're usually a father, and then their son, and then their son, and then their son. They get into it, and we don't. We're sitting there trying to vote these people when we need to be the people.
Yes.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
I can go all night. So y'all, I know y'all got better things to do
No,
and
no, no.
all that. But
I
this,
and I appreciate you. You have been so helpful, and I'm closing. I'm giving you, that final push. Jim McRaven is my friend, man. Miss you is on here as well. The table seems to be God ordained timing. I agree with you, and I'm enjoying this. He is giving us so much stuff to find out, and we all talk about this, the need for the team, and we just got to settle down. Miss and I, we do music, and I think people were surprised. I'm older than him, but I partnered with him
yeah,
because I can write the music, but he just has something else. And it
yeah,
seems like, Miss, we need a couple of more legs
yeah.
to be
And
the team.
I'm surprised he hasn't reached out to me. I'll be happy to help you in Mitchell. Like, I mean, I've known him for years.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So I mean, that's Winston Salem. Winston Salem ain't
ain't
but
but a
that
smidgen.
big, but you know,
That boy know everybody. I told him he know
part
everybody.
of our problem as a people, we are the most communal people.
Yes,
We call each other brother and sister and all that kind of stuff immediately, and we're quick to band together when somebody else on the outside is jumping in. But when we need each other, that's when the problem comes in. And people want to say, oh, you need to pay me this for that and pay me this for that and whatever. But we have to really start looking at the bigger picture. How do we bring everybody up? There's so much out here. There's so much out here.
I
There's so
love
much
it.
out here. So
I appreciate you. I'm
yeah,
giving you your final word. Miss you said, bring Trinity, call me so I can clean them cars. One of my
yeah,
passions, boy, he
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
So
yeah. He did you you haven't seen Giselle, my the red, the Lamborghini? Yeah, you need to come spend some time with her. Yeah.
I'm mad at y'all. At both of y'all. I'm mad at both of y'all.
But so what I will
No,
say kind of.
here is your time. I'm gonna give you your time. I'm coming off the screen. So this is you giving us knowledge. Whatever it is you want to say to us, let me say this in the onset, man. I appreciate you taking this time. Since you know Mitchell now, I know Mitchell, and then I mean I'm in good company. We gonna call,
Yeah.
but I want to give you. I'm gonna give you this time and just really talk to us. What do you want us to know as a people? What do you want us to know? The floor is yours, Mr. Manning.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. It is a blessing. It really is, to even be able to talk to one person. It doesn't matter if it's one person or 1,000 people, but if one person gets a little something from this, then I believe that we're being successful. um we use words like legacy and table and all that, but really we need to step back a little bit and step back to the basics, right? We need to step back to, if a math problem is very hard, a lot of times if you just kind of break it into pieces and start with some addition and subtraction and multiplication, you can get to the answer that you need. And so what I'll say is, don't be afraid to ask for help, right? And that is our thing. We let our pride, we let all that stuff get in the way, and we keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And we all know that that's insanity. But man, if I keep work, how many times do you restart that diet? You know, how many times have you started over with something? And it's okay to do that. But if we switch our mentality from saying, hey, how can I lose 40 pounds, to how can I just lose 1 pound? What do I need to do to lose 1 pound? And how can I repeat that? And it's the same thing when it comes to business. What things can I do? What do I need to do to make $1? Because listen, it is much easier to get 1 million people to give you $1 than one person to give you $1 million. So we are in a global economy, and all you have to think about is what percentage of the earth do you have to get to buy your product in order for you to believe that it's become successful. So start thinking on a global scale as opposed to just, oh, these are my friends and my homies buying my t-shirts or whatever. Think about somebody in Mogadishu using your product. Think about somebody in China. Think about somebody in Europe that's using something that you created, because it's what you can do. But before we can reach the world in the same way that I'm sure we talk about the gospel and all that kind of stuff, we send out all these people, these ministries and missionaries going to all the corners of the world, but they won't even go in their own backyard or walk down the street to help their fellow man. And that's what I'm here for, to say is that, how can we help each other? How can we partner together and do this together? Because if we continue to try to do it on our own, we will not be, or the chances of you being successful doing something on your own are greatly reduced. And really believe that I would much rather have 20% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. And that's what happens. A lot of us have just got 100% of a grape when we can have this big old chunk of something bigger. So if we change our mindset to focusing on what's bigger and how we can come together, how we can make good partnerships, business is there. I mean, you can make money doing anything, selling rubber bands or hats or I don't know, but the ties that you put on bread. Realize that those little metal ties that you put on, somebody supplies the little pieces of metal that tie your bread. So you can't say that there's nothing that's too small in order to really make money. And that's my final thing. There is we really need to come together. We can all be successful, and you can do it.
Man, you are fantastic. Tell Ron, thank you for introducing me to Trinity. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yes,
This is
sir.
This has been awesome, y'all. I'm Stephen Williams. Man, this has been one of the most insightful behind the veil. I mean, and last week was good too, man, about the conversation, McRaven. I mean, this is just some good stuff right here.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, sir. And I thank God for you. You all continue to be successful. We're going to call you. I need all the help I can get.
Call me anytime. Shoot me text
I,
it. Like,
I
this is
need all the counts. I'll come sit down at the feet of Gamaliel and just get some direction because I got all these things. I just need somebody to say, hey, Williams, this, or this. And so, man, I appreciate you tonight. This has been absolutely awesome. Y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me. Thank you, Trinity, for your time. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all, until the next appointed time, this is Stephen Williams. Come on. Thank you for joining me behind the veil. They call me the good bishop, but ain't nobody good like God. Thank you, Trinity. Thank y'all for joining me. Till the next time. God bless. Anybody got victory? I got victory. Victory in my voice. Victory in my voice, y'all. This was good tonight, y'all. I proclaim victory to all of us. Said I got winning in my mind. I got it in my mind. I left no doubt behind. I'm leaving it. Victory in my hand. Oh, victory in my hand. Yes, sir. Victory in this day. I got victory in this day. Can you feel it in your soul? This man is giving us some tools. Let's go become great. Partnership. Let's be a part of the table. Legs on the table. God knows, Cynthia, it was good. It was good. See yourself in Mozambique or whatever it is, Europe, whatever. See your product all over there and watch God do something great for you. Thank y'all so much for joining me behind the veil. Next week, guess what? I think we're talking about the church. I need them tools. Yep, I need the tools. I appreciate y'all. I can feel it over. I got to figure out how to make some money on what I am. I need some partners. Some more legs to the table. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all so much. Until our next appointed time. Bye, y'all.